Wiley Levine. Here. Bill McGuire.
Here.
Rick Flynn.
Here.
Mike Burns.
Here.
David Kyle.
Here.
McAfee. Ladonna Allen.
Here.
Roger Goodell.
Here.
Will you all please stand and join me in our pledge of allegiance and the invocation? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you pray with me? Gracious God, as we come to you this day to begin another session of the Carl Junction Board of Aldermen, we ask that you impart upon us your wisdom and guidance so that we may promote justice and assist those in need and provide for the overall well-being of the citizens of Carl Junction. In your most holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Rick. Next is approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, we need to remove 12B, the treasurer's report. Somebody didn't get one.
Very well. Do I hear a motion
Second.
to amend the agenda? Motion to, that was the motion you made,
Yeah.
right? Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Roger Spencer, second by All Allen, to amend the agenda to remove 12B, the treasurer's report. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative, 1 absent. The agenda has been amended.
I have one other.
On the agenda?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Sorry. Next.
Now, you guys want to approve the agenda as amended?
I move we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Roger Spencer to approve the amended agenda. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative, with 1 absent. The amended agenda is approved. Next is the consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting on 11/21, the open meeting, and the closed meeting on 11/14. Are there any comments or changes to either one of the? Well, I can't do anything closed. To the open or the other.
I'd like to, on the ordinance for real estate purchase, I was absent last week and it says that I voted yes.
And
We need to amend that.
you voted no?
I wasn't here.
Oh, you weren't here. Oh. All right. Does you make that a motion?
Yes, sir.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Rick Flynn, second by Roger Spencer to amend the minutes of the previous meeting, which stated that Rick Flynn was voted in favor of it, but he was absent. So it should reflect that he is absent. Now, the other changes. Just hold on.
Do we have to approve? You had a motion and a second.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. All those in favor of amending the consent agenda of the previous meeting minutes, vote with the right hand. 7 in the affirmative, 1 absent. It's going to be a bad night. I can see that. Now we need a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting amended and the closed 11/14.
I move we approve the consent agenda with the amended minutes of the previous meeting
And the closed one.
in the close.
Motion by Don Allen, second by Holly Levine to approve the minutes, the amended minutes of the previous meeting on 11/21 and the closed minutes of 11/14. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative with 1 absent. Also the disbursements, you guys approve those too.
Yes.
I think they will mention that. Next is public forum. Anyone like to speak at public forum? Oh, I gotta read this before you get up here. You gotta come on up here though. Get to the microphone. All persons wishing to speak to the mayor and board of aldermen during the public comment portion of the meeting should come forward one at a time and stand at the podium, then state your name and address and the subject matter you wish to comment upon. All comments should be directed to the mayor in a civil manner. Comments are limited to 5 minutes unless the mayor or board of aldermen grants additional time. It is the mayor's responsibility to make certain these rules are followed to maintain order and decorum. If you have a question, the mayor and board of aldermen may, of course, provide an immediate response. However, the mayor and board of aldermen may also provide no response or response at a later time as they deem appropriate. Go for it.
Okay. My name is Anna Hammond. I live at 10399.
Could you get closer to the microphone?
Sorry. My name is Anna Hammond. I live at 10399 County Road.
Hang on a second. Are we not on? No.
Batteries.
Gotta wait for batteries.
Yep.
Sorry.
Just to make it more difficult.
My name is Anna Hammond. I live at 10399 County Road 29.
My name is Emma.
Here's the rest of it. Your last name and where you live.
Emma McDowell. I live at 309 Turf Lane, Carl Junction, Missouri.
My name is Alyssa Botso. I live at 308 First Grove.
And we are speaking on behalf of Girl Scout Troop 70341. And we are also the same group, Girl Scout Troop, that put out the cans in the parking lot. And our report on that is that we've made around $300 since we put out the can bin. Just also to add to that, that's not just from here. We do collect cans from Helping Hands, and we also pick up on the streets. Okay, we're here today to talk about putting a free seed library in Carl Junction.
If what?
A free seed library.
Oh,
Perks to having a garden. Doing gardening is what most people do. With gardening, you become healthier. Some studies show also lowers your blood pressure. Gardening is healthier because you're eating healthier. You learn a lot of stuff from gardens.
A few reasons why we are doing this. First is to share facts about gardening. We are in the making of making a website and a QR code that will also have a few facts about gardening. Two, to add more / bring more gardens to our area. Three, gardening shows a substantial amount of growth in your health.
With this gardening project, we have been in contact with the CJ cultivators, and they loved our idea. We sent out letters to multiple companies asking for seeds to be donated, and we've collected over 300 packets of seeds. Some of the seed companies that we have been donated from is Baker's Creek, Burpee, and Ferrymore's. And our question is, where do you guys think would be the most beneficial place to put a free seed library?
are you looking like raise a community garden type deal? Like with the?
Yeah.
I
No?
think they just want like
Kinda
a
like the
place
little free
to
library?
put seeds.
Yes.
Well, yeah, they want land.
No,
No, they're just gonna hand out the seeds?
It's gonna be like the free library books.
Oh, okay.
There.
Yeah,
That would be the best places right here. in the
Right here?
entrance. Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna build the box
Yes.
and provide it?
Yeah.
So it would need to be somewhere dry. It can't be any moisture.
What about right inside the library, or right inside the doors there in the little vestibule?
they're in the
Oh,
library.
Okay, so yes, a dry place would be nice, but we were kind of looking for like if it would be okay where the community garden is. But we do have like, I don't know what they're called, like dry fit boxes that we're putting the seeds in, if that makes any sense. We're also, not only are we, we're just doing the starter seeds, but it can be kind of like the books you can exchange and that kind of stuff. So we'll just have empty little envelopes that they can label what they are, that kind of stuff.
So is it pretty small? Or
Well, we haven't built it yet.
I'm thinking like, could you put other things in there? Like the little like starter pots or soil or, gardening tools if somebody wants to donate those.
I think the smaller gardening tools would be fine, but not like a big old shovel, but yeah, we are going more like about this big.
I think that's a cool idea. I like it. I think a community garden is also a good idea. If you guys want to build up. I'll help
There you go.
and I got shut down on that about 10 years ago.
Hey, I am
They have
for it.
soccer fields there now.
I know a pool we can fill in.
I think
Well, what do you
right
think?
here, right here with the little free library that we have right.
That's fine, that sounds good to me.
Would be a
I
great
think
place
it'd be
for it.
outside.
Anybody have objection to that?
No,
Council,
no, I think it's great.
go for it.
Thank you.
Oh, and good job on the cans. That's great.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else like to speak in public forum? Last call for public forum. Very well, then we'll move right along to approval of radar sign quotes for digital speed limit signs. How about a discussion on this? Steve?
In your packet, you've got the quote we got from Radar Sign. For these, there's actually two different ones on there, two different sizes and styles. One has 11-inch LED letters, the other one has 13-inch. And they size those by how fast, what the speed limit is. So the faster you go, a 13-inch letter is easier to see than what an 11-inch letter is. The biggest thing probably is location of where we would put these if you approve it. The two locations that I constantly get people talking to me about is both of them are on Broward Drive. One of them right there by the clubhouse, and the other is at the end of Broward Drive by Joplin Street. Coming up that hill after you go across, across the creek, and you go up that hill, is that stretch of Broward Drive right in there is always, it seems like we get people complaining about the speed of vehicles. Even some people have put out their own signs, that it's not a racetrack, that type of thing. To complement these is our speed trailer that we put out, in spot locations where we can do it. Lots of options you can go with on them too, on each one of them, if you'd want to do that. The one thing that I would really want to do is make sure that we get additional batteries for it, so that they go dead. You just take the battery out, swap the battery out, put them in again. They've also got solar that you can get for them too.
Yeah, you're talking about the curve section on Broward Drive?
No, it's after you go around the curves right here at Joplin Street. You go around the curves and you start up that hill where the trail is on your right.
Oh, okay, after you pass the trail.
After you pass the trail going up there, there's that straight shot in there.
I was gonna say, the solar stuff would not work on the curve section.
No, there's too many trees in there.
Same place.
Well-
And I think if we get these and we do it and they seem to work, there's other places in the city next year we need to buy more of them and put in different locations too. Yeah, LaDonna.
I've been thinking about that, because we talked about a couple of the portable ones when we were at the state thing. And I've been thinking, since this came out, I think what I would personally come close to approving is if we got a couple of like the portable ones that we could use at different places. Like when you have the soccer, big crowds on Saturday, when you have stuff through the week, when you have bluegrass. I can see if we had a section of town, like maybe around the school or on Pennell, that certain hours of the day we had a reduced speed limit, kind of like when you have the school zones that change. I can see something like that investing. I think a couple of them that we just shifted around when we did have large crowds. I have a real problem with buying 4 and putting them all on the same street, because you may get a lot of complaints. There's a lot of complaints on other streets.
Oh yeah, there is.
I mean, so.
And the quantity, I'm like you, I'm not sure about whether for two of these have the solar, the TC 600s, which is the back page.
And they'd be permanent.
And those would be permanent with the solar. The battery operated, they do with the portable, and they do have a portable bracket. They call it Go bracket, where you can move them around, that we can get.
I mean,
I
like
agree,
say,
we definitely need the portable ones.
I think the portable, and like say, it's not going to take radar. It's basically just a pay attention
Oh, don't say
kind
that.
of deal.
They won't know that.
Well, we can you can stand out there with the radar gun from pitching and take, but I mean, hopefully it would raise awareness when you had a situation like that. Or like say, if we ever decide to reduce the speed limit during certain hours.
Sorry.
With that,
You want it again?
But I
with
would
that
say a
taken
couple of
into effect, I would recommend that we go with the 11-inch ones, 11-inch LEDs, and not the 13-inch ones, because we can get both the Go brackets and the solar for that 11. We can move them around if we want to.
I think that would be more practical. And then like you say, if you see it really does have an impact, then maybe we could look at investing more later on.
If that's the case, that's the 6,170, and that's
That's for two of them?
for two of them, yes.
Well, they got to have batteries on there. You're gonna have to buy extra batteries, right?
Yeah, extra batteries. The batteries, I wanted to see what they came with before I did that, because the batteries I could probably source locally
Oh, okay.
cheaper than $300 a piece.
Yeah.
Like a battery warehouse or battery outfit or something like that.
But I think there's a need for one by the high school. Did I ask you this before? Is there a way that you can program it so, during 7 to 4 is one speed,
Yeah, they can program it.
and then in the off times?
That I will have to get with MoDOT with. They would have to approve that
That would be in front of the high school.
in front of the high school.
Okay.
The one that's down from the high school, actually, I think the school maintains it. Do they?
Have you thought about anything, the optional stuff, the Street Smart, where it collects all the data and all that? It's done on the item 9.
I kind of like that data collection. That's what we use the trailer for now. Is we park it someplace for a little bit, and we can tell. Because there's a lot of times that when we've been able to collect that data, that it comes back and we look at it, and there's not really a problem there. That perception.
That's
of when
because the
you're
trailer's
standing-
out.
Yeah, that perception of when you're standing on your front porch or when you're standing out by the street, your perception is that car's going a lot faster than what it actually is. And that's just the way the human brain is.
Or everybody hits their brakes because they see the speed.
Yeah.
Either way, problem
Either way.
solved.
Well, what do we want to start with? You want to start with
I think
2?
we need to start with
You want to start with 4 and they're all portable, 11-inch?
One question here. This deal with the Go bracket. I'm sure you don't know any more than what's reading here, but it's this installation takes less than 1 minute. Pre-installed brackets, no tools required. Is there a way to lock this or something? It seems to me like that's something
Yes.
that might look in my garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Put it in
basically,
your
you
driveway.
unlock the panel behind it.
Yeah, it is lockable.
I would like to see us start with maybe 2 and get them in and see how we like them and if they're what we think they are and if they're going to make any kind of difference. Because we can always order more.
Okay with me.
And 2 wouldn't.
So I think what we start with are those 2 11-inch ones and make sure that they're the portable style with solar and the Street Smart.
Okay, budget question. Will those come out of street?
Yes.
So on the additional stuff, you're suggesting we go to the universal mount Go bracket
Yes.
and the Street Smart data collection,
Yes.
and that's it?
That's it.
Yeah, we probably want an additional battery charger. What's everybody else feel about that?
I make a motion that we approve the purchase of 2 portable signs with the additional items that the mayor just mentioned.
Second.
Motion by David Powell, second by Bill McGuire, that we go with 2 of the modular battery-powered radar signs, 11-inch displays, with the option of the additional universal mount Go bracket and the Street Smart data collection system. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative. with one absent. Go get those things on order.
Can I add one thing to that?
Yes.
Now we have this trailer that probably is not going to be, wasn't used a ton before, but now that we have these portable signs, does this trailer have any value? Can you sell that trailer?
Absolutely, it does. It still has.
It still has value.
I'm saying
Well,
you
we
can
can
sell that
still-
trailer and
Well, we can use it in different parts of town.
Yeah, see, these, we have to put up a post every time you want to put one of the signs up.
you can attach it to some sign or something that's already
But
there.
like if that one is out on the soccer fields, maybe there, then
The
maybe.
trailer and that big sign are still more noticeable than what these will be. It will still draw more attention.
But maybe we need to use that
That's
more.
what,
Yeah, if we've got it.
Yep.
Rather than
Hey,
have it drawn
if somebody
down.
calls me and asks about it, I do not hesitate to have Dave charge those batteries that are put it out there.
Maybe we can keep
I
it
just
charged
gotta-
and just
just gotta
rotate it
know.
around town.
Somebody's got to tell me where they want to put it. That's what I don't get.
Yeah. All right, well, next is approval of the bid from Omnigo for records management system. Discussion, Steve?
I'll let the chief talk about this one a little bit.
Well, we've been discussing it for quite a while now. They came in, got a call from them a couple of weeks ago where they wanted to give us an incentive to go ahead and get the deal done by knocking off another $2,300 off of it. It's the same system that several other agencies around here use, Jasper County, Webb City. It gives us the option or the ability to go into it and see what people they have been dealing with. If we have a suspect or something, we can get into the system and see if anybody else is dealing with the same suspect and crimes and stuff like that.
Now, Jasper County's on Cody, right?
I'm not sure if they're still using Cody
I
or not.
think-
We tried that at one time and it did
Yeah.
not work well for us.
I think the
They may
sheriff's,
not be. I know Baxter
Yeah.
Springs is also on the go.
I think Carthage is, aren't they?
I haven't talked to Hawkins to see if he is or not.
Last I talked to the sheriff, they were on Cody, but said he'd like to go to Omnigo, so that may be something in their future.
Questions? Does anybody not want to do this?
I think it's a good idea.
Well,
I move we approve this bid.
second,
Motion by Rick Glenn, second by LaDonna Allen, to approve the bid from Omnigo for records management system. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 affirmative, 1 absent. We can do that. Now, the next part of this is approval of the bids from DigiTicket.
They are,
These all go hand in hand?
they do, but they don't, but they're two different systems. You could have one or the other,
One or the other?
or
or
one,
both.
or the other, or both.
Two
But they
separate
do
companies.
Two
that
separate
work
companies,
hand
two
in
separate things. DigiTicket is what the officers would use actually in the cars, writing stuff. The other was the RMS, the records management system.
Oh, okay.
And they are compatible.
Yes.
Yeah, they're two separate companies, but they have worked together for years and they pretty much work hand in hand.
Which one we have the problem with?
Records management.
It's actually been both.
Both? I mean, which company?
Tyler.
Oh,
Tyler and Interpol are the two that we have now that have been the problem.
yeah, okay. And we know these work because web use, job use. Okay.
Anything new we need to know about DigiTicket before I make a motion to approve?
Any other questions? Yeah, Mike?
I guess I have a question. A long time ago, we used to get the information of all the tickets that were being written on a monthly basis, and that was part of our packet. And I don't know, we don't get that information anymore, but, you know, what kind of numbers are we looking at here as far as tickets that are being written and possibly to offset some of these costs? What I'm saying is, we have, you know, $20,000 plus a $3,000 annual recurring fee, and if we're writing 2 tickets a month, I don't have any idea what the numbers we're looking at.
I would defer to Crystal since she's the prosecutor's clerk.
Problem is the ones that have been stuck, I don't have a good number for that because of the ones that have been stuck.
Mark, we have something there.
I can say it's 1 or 2.
Sure.
How many total tickets, regardless of the ones that are stuck in the system, how many total tickets are written average a month? 20, 30, 40?
20 to 30. 30 would be a big month, but yeah. I think that's a good number.
I know we have a ton of traffic stops. That's really kicked up on the logs.
We're still having some issues with the current one we're on. And I think that's a problem that officers are deciding not to issue citations sometimes because like this weekend, new program wouldn't allow us, or the one we're on right now would not allow us to issue a January court date, which when we switched to December 1st, we started issuing January 2024 court dates. The program wasn't allowing them to do that, so you can't issue a ticket at that time. So when they thought they were going to issue a ticket, they discover they can't write a ticket at that time. They give a warning and go on their way. I think that the fact that we've had so many problems with them has cut down on the tickets.
Do we have any idea how much we're paying currently for whatever service that we're using to write tickets with?
It's about, we went through that when we did the Tyler stuff. We had
It's comparable.
50-some thousand into it. It was a lot more expensive. The reoccurring on it is about 4,100.
Oh, yeah,
something like that.
from what we saw, the recurring was comparable, like to what we budgeted. The startup costs, unfortunately, we're having to pay startup costs because what we've been paying for, we've just kind of thrown our money away because.
Yep.
So I mean, it's bad because we've got to spend the money on the startup, but the recurring, once it's something that works right, is about what we had been budgeting for, like the data, annual maintenance and stuff on the data.
Chief, would these 2 systems be used for code enforcement, ticketing, and tracking, as well?
Yeah. In fact, the Omnigo RMS has a specific module for code enforcement.
I make a motion, we approve the bid for the digital tracking software.
Motion by David Powell, second by Holly Levine, that we approve the bid for digital ticketing software. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 affirmative with 1 absent. We can go forward with that now. Next is discussion on the contract with Retail Strategies LLC for consulting services. Holly, you want to field this one?
Yes, thank you. So we met John and Retail Strategies at the Missouri Municipal Conference in September, and we've been conversing with them ever since. They do retail recruitment. So their kind of game plan would be they would come in and map the town, would go street by street, identifying areas that would be good for business that we could develop, that are owned by private landowners, maybe they already have businesses that are underutilized. And then they will put together a market analysis and then like a retail recruitment guide, and then they will actually go to work for us, trying to bring these businesses in. So our main goal with this would be tax revenue, of course. So everybody knows we don't have a lot of businesses here in town. I don't know if a lot of people realize our tax revenue does not stay in our town. So when we go to Walmart, we go to Harps, none of that tax revenue is staying in Carl Junction. So we really need to pull some of that money back and then be able to have that tax revenue for our police and our services. Secondly, we create jobs in town. We provide more services, businesses to our citizens. Now, you have to drive to Joplin 20 minutes. Maybe we could have something here in town where you could, whatever, buy your groceries, get your oil changed, things like that. I handed out data last week. I don't know if anybody had time to review that. We have, we've gotten a couple,
Cities.
Yeah.
2 cities that got back to us.
yeah, we've reached out, I think 5, 2 got back to us that they work with in Missouri. We spoke with Maryville. They said they've been extremely pleased with their service. They said they brought them a Starbucks right away that pays for their whole contract with them in sales tax revenue. They said they also got them a Marshalls in their town. And I thought, well, maybe this is a big town, but I looked it up and it's a comparable town to our size. They work with towns right in our range. So they work from, I think they said like 6,500 up to 15,000, something like that. So anyway, I've got tons of data from them, tons of numbers. I have John on standby if anybody has any questions that I can answer.
How many of them came back positive? Holly?
We reached out to 5. 2 people responded and they were both positive. One was extremely positive. One said they are just kind of getting started, so they didn't really have any results yet. But so it's pricey. So their services are, for the first year, it's going to be $50,000. And they like a 3-year commitment, but it's a at-will contract, so we can walk away at any time. But it takes time to get these businesses going. So we're not going to get, 5 brand new businesses in the next couple of months where we would see that right away. But the cost goes down, so that the second and third year is $45,000. But they would become essentially an employee of the city, but we would have a whole team at our disposal. They said they can give, daily, weekly updates, whatever we want to do. They put everything into a base camp program where we can all view that anytime we want, see who they're talking to. Yeah, so it's kind of like hiring an employee with the cost, except, we're paying for this whole team instead of one employee that would work for the city. And up until this point, we haven't had a lot of economic recruitment or development going on. So I think this would be a great investment into our town that I think that we will see a really great return on. And I also gave you guys the numbers for tax revenue of a lot of businesses they work with, so you guys could have reviewed as well.
Donna?
I was here, I listened to the presentation they had, and one thing that I got to think about, there are companies out there where you can get a lot of the data that they have, but that's just it. You just get the data. And they actually have it and then know how to use it and go to like the different different conventions or talk with expansion teams and stuff. Like just during the budget meeting, we were discussing something, wondered if anybody had the data. She texted the guy we haven't even paid to help us, and he sent back a number for us. So we've done some in-house, economic development in the past. We've contracted with the chamber and stuff, but we've never really had a lot of success because it does take a big group networking with these people like they do. I know it's a big number, and something that I had thought about, and I don't know, we'll discuss it as we go into budgeting, but we did approve the sale of the Meach-Rito building, which I kind of saw as a business incubator. I mean, we got the building, we turned around, we used it to allow businesses to come in. A business came in, was successful enough that we approved the sale of the building to them. So I kind of think it would be a good idea to reinvest some of that money because it worked. We brought them in, we got the sales tax, now we've got that sold. I think it would be a perfect opportunity to reinvest some of that and to continue to grow economic development in this town. We've got to do something. We cannot keep going off of property tax.
Mike, do they have any kind of guarantees? I mean, I'd love to have an Aldi's in town, Aldi, singular, excuse me. But I just don't know that that's going to happen as much as we wish and hope and throw money at it.
No, they were very realistic about, we start, small. And he had, many different ideas. And he did say, like, with Starbucks, they used to only be in, more populated areas, but now they're going into small towns. So he said that's something that he was hopeful that maybe we could achieve. But yeah, I mean, there's no guarantees.
You may
But we
get it,
did
you could see.
speak, we did speak to several companies, and this one was definitely most inclusive. Like, they do the most things, do the recruitment for us, create a marketing guide. He even talked, I thought this was cool, about trying to do a catalyst project. So maybe a brewery or like a destination restaurant or a boutique, that maybe if we got something cool like that, that could be like an anchor, and other businesses would want to come and be around that as well.
And he did say, weekly, they'll email
Yeah.
there'll be
So
constant
they can
updates on what
update us
they're
as
doing.
much as we like, yeah.
Because that's the thing, if it's an at-will thing, if we're not happy at any time, I mean, we don't go past the first year. But like I said, it will take a year because they're having to do all the data and reach out. But another thing he said was, even if it's land like adjacent to the city, there's times when they've even went and approached property owners about annexing in, finding ways to bring them into the town to benefit the town, so.
And some other things, so we've got a couple of properties in town that are zoned as commercial, but the owner doesn't really seem motivated to actually sell it at this time. They said they would work with property owners to maybe find a developer that'll come in and build on that land. So maybe they can enter into a partnership where they would still own the land, but then they would be collecting revenue on it.
He also said something that, like, let's say Aldi's, I'm just using as an example. Like, if they talked to Aldi's and then they said, no, that's not right for us, that they would continue to follow up with Aldi's to find out, okay, why not? What can we do as a city to make it more possible that you might come? So that was something too, where over an extended period of time, you would continue to follow up and we can address any issues and then maybe entice them to come at a later date.
And that reminds me too, so he also said, so maybe you have a business that would say no for us, but if he tells them, okay, well, I've got Carl Junction, and I've got Maryville and Blue Springs, and I've got this network already set up, well, maybe they would come into 5 locations and we would be one of them.
Oh, and then they would coordinate their distribution too, because you
Right.
already said
So
all these
like-
people.
If it's not worth it for just one small town, but if I got 5 small towns, then it becomes worth it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a catch-22 because, if we had more economic development, we wouldn't have this problem. But already this meeting, we approved $54,000 worth of expenditures. That's coming on the heels of a $650,000 pavilion. And again, if we had more economic development, that wouldn't be the issue necessarily.
Right.
But unfortunately, and I wasn't able to attend the budget meeting. And I know you said we have the sale from the Meats Rita building, but I just don't think it's a good time. I'm going to
I
start.
mean, are any of those things that we're spending money on an investment that's gonna bring money back to our city?
Probably not, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to start voting no on some more expenses here because I think you can be a little more prudent.
I think we need to be prudent on our expenses, but I think also for 18, 19 years that I've been coming to about every meeting, we always kick the can down the road and we try stuff that we try to cheat our way out of it. Like, contracting with different people to do some economic development that really, that's not their forte. And if we don't do something to turn it around and get some business in here, we're not going to. I mean, we do not have the capacity inside the city to go do what these people can do. We don't have the expertise and we don't have the data. I mean, we can buy the data and then it just sits there. I think we're to the point we've got to get some business in. We have all the people in the world that want to build here, but we got to get that. We've got to get the business.
And
I mean, I see what you're saying. We just spent a lot of money, but
this gap analysis is unbelievable, the amount of money that our citizens are spending outside of our community. So I mean, all of that revenue should stay here in our community. You know, if we had that tax revenue, you know, we wouldn't have many of the problems we do have.
Well, we actually reached out to him about online sales that are happening here.
Oh, yes, so he pulled some numbers. He said the amount of online sales from Carl Junction is 21 million per year.
Even a small percentage of that staying in town would be a huge income.
Our grocery gap is $68 million per year.
Is how much?
68 million.
He did make a point that Aldi's, which you may want, he said if they could put them in a Walmart parking lot, they'd love to do that. Aldi thinks they can keep up with them. So that might not be so far out of reach. And this is 3 years, but we're not committed to all 3.
Right.
Anything else?
Just as an example, when the city first hired me in 2002, the economic development budget was $50,000. That's what it was.
if there's no more discussion, I make a motion that we approve going into agreement. Retail second. Well, Bill
Is
said-
this up for approval or just discussion tonight?
This is just discussion. We would have to come back with an ordinance.
This
next
would
week.
require.
Okay,
Right,
so,
this is just discussion.
okay, so, well, I motion that we come back with an agreement and an ordinance.
Very well. Is there a second on that one?
Bill,
Bill seconded. Okay, we have a motion for coming back with a contract and ordinance with Retail Strategies LLC for consulting services. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 1, 2, 3. Like you guys. No. 5 in favor. All those opposed, same sign. 5 to 2. Come back with the ordinance. Next is discussion of supervisor's request to change the duplex lots to single family at Rainier Farms. We have a person here from,
We do. Jacob's here.
Sir. My name is Jacob Lett with Schuber Mitchell Homes at 3331 North Rangeland. As the request says, we're here to discuss the change of phase 1 lots from multifamily to single family. Really just wanted to notify you guys, with this PUD, we originally planned some of these lots to be possibly multifamily. The PUD is an R4 PD with amended setbacks and amended lot dimensions. On these specific lots, these will be used for single family, so there'll actually be a reduction in density for these. We're just wanting to make sure you guys are aware of this prior to us getting the point of building on these lots. If we have an investor that wants to build duplexes, then go back to these lots on multifamily. So just want to notify you guys of that change and see if there are any questions about that.
Mr. Talley?
This was a planned development that
Yes,
went
sir.
through approval stages of the entire plan.
Yes, sir.
Board of Adjustment, Planning and Zoning Commission, and the Board of Alderman. So this is a revision of that plan.
I guess that's a question. So to our understanding on this R4 PD, we had amended setbacks, amended lot dimensions with the plan development. We do have them noted. We mentioned we wanted to do multifamily here. We know with other zonings, you can always build down to a lesser depth. I guess that's the question. If we do need to format a division, we'd love to know that.
we don't have a lot of experience with these plan developments. But the whole idea is that it's a unit that is approved in mass.
Yes, sir.
And again, without a lot of experience dealing with these, the whole concept, I think, requires that you go through the process with an amended plan.
Okay.
I look back through, and the city clerk and I both look back through the various official actions taken on this, and duplexes for those 8 lots were planned from the outset.
Yes, sir.
There's not a lot of discussion that I could find in the minutes relating to why the duplexes, why not single families. But putting that aside, the integrity of the system of planned unit developments, I think, requires you to go through the process of getting approval. Not suggesting there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
But Elena and I had some discussion. You are of the same opinion, are you not, as far as, it seems to me that we need to go through those steps, adjusting this plan to include single family. Those are my thoughts. Admittedly, we don't have experience dealing with this previously, but that would be my advice to the council.
Absolutely. From our perspective, we've done a few, not really here in Missouri, Arkansas, and every city handles them completely differently. On some cities require even in a PUD rezone multifamily separately. Our request would be for direction on this. And some of them, some cities, it's that you zone for the max density and anything under is allowable. So anything that you guys direct us to do, we'll absolutely proceed.
And again, I understand the rationale, and that's a possibility, but we don't have experience handling this before, and I think it's a bad precedent to set. Once we have a planned unit that's all approved together, presented together, we need to go through those steps again to do something different.
So with the steps for that, I guess what does that look like? This is phase 1 would be the only amendment. Would that be Board of Adjustments or P&Z, or what's the step of that?
I think the same steps you took getting the original.
For PUD. Okay, for variance.
That's,
Okay. Is that fine with you?
That's fine with us.
Okay.
Council's wish.
I think that probably settles it then. If you want to do that, then just come back with what you want to do.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you. Yeah.
Can I ask one
Sure.
clarification? Does the council have a thought or an inclination on whether you guys would be agreeable to that change? Do you have any initial thoughts?
You didn't like duplexes to start with, did you, Mike?
I voted no on the whole development. And so that's my question, I suppose. If you change it, this is a slightly different council than the one that initially approved this development. So if we went through the process again with a new plan development, and if that got voted down, does it revert to the one that was already agreed upon, or is now there no more plan development?
If I were representing the developer, I would offer this as an amendment. So that if it got voted down, they'd be back where they were.
There you go.
That's good suggestion.
Good point.
Otherwise, yes, to answer your question, I think I would be in favor of single family in exchange for multi.
Yeah. And if you guys have any questions, we have a few reasons for seeking this change. If you guys would like any of that insight, please feel free to ask.
Do you happen to, off the top of your head, know which slots we were talking about here?
So it's phase 1. It is the first, I believe that's 8 lots on either side of Aberdeen Avenue. And I have drawings here if you guys would like to see them.
It's labeled on here as phase 4, but it's those first lots coming into Aberdeen. There's 8 on each side.
And those are
the orange lots.
Yeah, the orange lots. And those are 80-foot wide lots. Those would turn, we wouldn't change lot layout. It'd be the exact same lot size, same setbacks. It would just be a premium product. So
other phases were single families?
Yes, sir. Yep. The rest of it's just a mix of single family.
Can you put a place for Aldi?
Could you build it?
Right there on that corner.
You build it, they will.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. I guess you've got a direction now and you're okay with it?
Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving right along to ordinances. First is an ordinance, there's no E on that ordinance.
Do these guys want to stick around for, is there an ordinance involving them?
No, but they're more than welcome to see what happens at the city council. We'd love to have people here. They can get up and leave anytime they want to. They don't have to.
Yeah, I know.
This is the ordinance placing question 1, local use tax on the April 2nd, 2024 ballot.
Move we put this ordinance on first reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, second by Red Spencer, put this ordinance on first reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance calling an election to authorize a use tax in the city of Carl, Junction, Missouri.
Discussion.
So the first thing I told previous, in the committee meeting, look at section 1 of the ordinance. There was a slight change in the language of the ordinance. We cannot mess with the language of the ballot. That's stated in statute, that's the way it has to be. What that section 1 says is that the Board of Aldermen hereby declares its intent to implement a local use tax in the city to be used in the interest of public safety, which is what Budget Committee and even HR we had talked about, so that we could use this for funding of public safety. Police department is the public safety, so that's why that was put in the ordinance.
What other things would fall under public safety then? Not just the police department.
I have a very narrow view of that as opposed to Joplin. Joplin uses their public safety stuff for a lot of things that I don't really think are. One of them is streetlights. I don't think that qualifies. When I think of public safety, my intent is police department.
Joplin use fire, but the fire department's independent from this.
You could even use street department.
Yeah, Mike.
The aforementioned question here, section 1, this is just the language of the ordinance. The general public, unless they come in or listen to this meeting, they're not going to see this section 1.
That's exactly
Unless
right.
they know about this ordinance and
The
look
only-
at that specific
They're going
ordinance.
to see the ballot question, but they have no idea what section 1 says unless they're listening tonight.
Unless a group of concerned citizens decides to go make some signs saying what is going to happen with it and puts them out all over the city so that they will know exactly what it's going to be used for. That's correct. If we do nothing but put this on the ordinance again, it's doomed to the same failures it's had before. They need to understand what it is.
My question is, so I don't mind because I don't think anybody's going to see this, but this money is going to, the way we're trying to word this and the way the information we're trying to present is that this money is all going to be used in the interest of public safety. And so it makes me think that every dollar that we receive from use tax is going to increase the police budget by that amount. In reality, we're going to shift money around, and so the police department may not increase a single cent. Less money is going to be taken out of general fund to put the police fund. So this money is going to go to the police fund, but the actual budget of the police fund may not. I mean, potentially we'll have this extra money.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
But when we say this is going to increase public safety, we're purposely misleading.
It
because
actually,
not really.
it actually will increase their budget though, because right now we have under budgeted because we have to under budget. Like we don't have
the
their
money,
vehicles.
no funds.
You know, I mean, there's stuff coming up
Sure.
that we haven't been able. But the way we were talking in budget committee, it works. Like we will work with the PD to set their budget, like to fully staff them, to have the vehicles they need, to have the safety equipment they need. Then all of that money will get plugged into there. And then we will supplement from the general fund like we do now. But hopefully, you're right, it will free up some money in the general fund. Because if we, with the $21 million online sales that we had in the last year, that's $700,000. I mean, you plug that in, then you put in more money from the general fund. But you're right. I mean, we're still going to have to put more money on top of it. But it will free up some money for the general fund, which we can use for anything we need for citizens. So it is, in a way, yeah, you're right. It's kind of, some people think it's on top of that. And it's not, but it will allow us to fully fund them.
But that's
Nowhere in that language does it say it's going to increase the police department budget.
I understand.
But I mean, it's the same thing with the casinos and stuff. Said it all went to the schools. Well, it does go to the school, but then you just don't have to take as much money from other state funds.
I'm just, and so for the most part, it doesn't matter because unless they're actually reading this ordinance language.
Well, the only thing is this goes on record of what our intent is. Because a lot of times when we do the use tax, people, you hear, well, they say they want it for this, but this goes on record that we're all saying that's what our intent is if we approve it.
Mr. Talley?
I didn't write this particular language in section 1, but just to be clear, and I think I'm saying right, Steve, that section 1 does not in fact obligate the city to use this in public safety.
No,
You
because
declared your intent, but you're not obligated.
because this council cannot obligate future councils.
Well, even declaring their intent doesn't in fact obligate.
Right.
You change your mind.
It's not like our regular sales tax, which we have a transportation sales tax.
That is dedicated.
That's dedicated to transportation. We have parks and
That is
all
not-
that's not what this is.
not the case.
Because you can't do that.
This, should you find the need to abandon that intent, you can. You might get some voters.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what they should do.
But you legally have the right to do that, and that just needs to be said, so, I think.
But I know this council has always expressed the thing that they're committed to doing that. Hopefully, future councils will too. Yeah.
The only other comment I have, and it's not on section 1, how many times have we put this on the ballot prior?
4.
4 times, so this would be number 5?
Yep. But no one's ever done anything before. It's always been on there and people walk in and go, what's this on the ballot? I think we need, there needs to be, hopefully it will be a committee formed that is independent of the city that will get out, put the language out and see what it really is all about. I know a lot of people think that this puts 3% on top of the tax they're already paying at Dollar General here. And that's not right. It doesn't do that. And a lot of people say, I don't want to do that. I don't buy anything online. What do I want to have a use tax for? Well, they don't pay a thing anyway.
It is confusing, and
It's
I
very
think
confusing.
we confused more in the past, trying to split it up like we do our regular sales tax. You know, like 1% goes here, 0.5% goes there. I think it confused it. So if we just have all of it go to general fund with the intent to use for public, I think it'll be easier to understand. There were people over the past few that tried to get word out, but like I say, it's going to take a citizens group actually getting the word out.
Just so everybody's clear, as a council, I can't go out there and say I'm for or against this.
You can personally.
Personally, but not.
You cannot speak for the
Yeah,
city.
speak for the city. Exactly. Which is why we would need like a grassroots kind of.
That's exactly right.
thing.
Second reading?
There's no more discussion. I'd like to put this on second reading by title only.
Second. Motion by Roger Spitzer, second by David Pilot. Put this ordinance on second reading. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance calling an election to authorize a use tax in the city of Carl Junction, Missouri.
Is there any further discussion?
Deliberator, the voting system is not working, so it will have to be roll call.
I move we put this ordinance on final passage.
Second. Motion by LaDon Allen, second by Rick Flynn, to put this ordinance on final passage. This is a hand vote to go to a hand vote. All those in favor? The roll call vote. Yeah, sorry. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7 in the affirmative. Clerk, please call the roll.
Holly Levine? Yes. Rick Flynn,
Yes.
Roger Spencer,
Yes.
LaDonna Allen,
Yes.
Mike Burns,
No.
Bill McGuire,
Yes.
David Pike.
Yes.
6 in favor with 1 opposed. The ordinance passes.
That is.
That is ordinance.
2338.
Next is ordinance amending chapter 355, stopping, standing, parking prohibited.
Move we put this ordinance on first reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by Donna Allen, seconded by David Powell to put this ordinance on first reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Carl Junction, Missouri by amending Title III Traffic Code, Chapter 355, stopping, standing, parking prohibited in specific places by amending Section 355.010, stopping, standing, parking prohibited to prohibit parking within 10 feet of a mailbox and to prohibit parking within 25 feet of a stop sign.
Discussion?
I'll just add that code nuisance met and recommend that we approve this.
Anybody got a problem? Yeah, Mike.
Well, I have a question. We're amending, and I suppose I should have went and looked up what it had previously been written, but what are we amending from to this?
Mr. Talley?
The stop signs used to be in that paragraph D that is highlighted as the obligation to stop was within 30 feet upon approach of any flashing signal or traffic control device.
Okay.
Or stop sign. We took stop sign out of there and changed it to within 10 feet of within 25 feet of the stop sign in subparagraph 3D. And then we added the language on a mailbox altogether, new within 10 feet of a mailbox, that being prohibited. Does that answer your question, Mike?
Make a motion to put this ordinance on second reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by David Powell, second by Roger Spencer to put this ordinance on second reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Carl Junction, Missouri by amending Title III Traffic Code, Chapter 355, stopping, standing, parking prohibited in specific places by amending Section 355.010, stopping, standing, parking prohibited to prohibit parking within 10 feet of a mailbox and to prohibit parking within 25 feet of a stop sign.
Any further discussion?
Make a motion we put this ordinance on final passage.
Second.
Motion by David Powell, second by Don Allen. This is a hand vote to go to a roll call vote. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative, please call the roll.
David Pike,
Yes.
Bill McGuire,
Yes.
Mike Burns.
No.
LaDonna Allen,
Yes.
Roger Spencer,
Yes.
Rick Flynn,
Yes.
Polly Levine. Yes.
Ordinance passes 6-1. That's ordinance
2339.
339. Next is an ordinance amending chapter 205, animal regulations.
Move we put this ordinance on first reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by Don Allen, second by Rick Flynn to put this ordinance on first reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending Title II Public Health, Safety, and Welfare, Chapter 205 Animal Regulations, Article 3 Dangerous Dogs, Section 205.265 Vicious Dogs or Other Animals of the Carl Junction, Missouri City Code to prohibit dangerous dogs from entering the city of Carl Junction, Missouri.
Discussion.
Just first thing would be code nuisance met on this as well, and we recommend approval of this as written.
This was requested, wasn't it, by the,
This was code enforcement and animal control. Police department asked for this one. So kind of specifically, because we've had a couple of dog attacks where dogs have come into the city limits and we know where those dogs are coming from, this allows us to ticket those people that live outside the city limits if they allow a vicious dog to come into the city limits.
Make a motion we put this ordinance on second reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by David Powell, second by Don Allen to put this ordinance on second reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending Title II Public Health, Safety, and Welfare, Chapter 205 Animal Regulations, Article 3 Dangerous Dogs, Section 205.265 Vicious Dogs or Other Animals of the Carl Junction, Missouri City Code to prohibit dangerous dogs from entering the city of Carl Junction, Missouri.
Any further discussion?
Make a motion we put this ordinance on final passage.
Motion by David Pyle, second by Roger Spencer, to put this ordinance on final passage. This is a hand vote to go to a roll call vote. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. 7 in the affirmative. Please call the roll.
Holly Levine.
Yes.
Rick Flynn.
Yes.
Roger Spencer.
Yes.
Donna Allen.
Yes.
Mike Burns.
Yes.
Bill McGuire.
Yes.
David Byrne.
Yes.
Ordinance passes 7-0, and that is ordinance number
2340.
2340. Next is ordinance amending chapter 705, water.
Make a motion we put this ordinance on first reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by David Pyle, second by Don Allen, to put this ordinance on first reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending Title 7 Utilities, Chapter 705 Water, Article 3 User Charge System by amending Section 705.330 Actual Use Rate Structure to conform commercial water rates to residential rates.
Discussion.
This came about because several years ago, DNR on an SRF loan mandated that our commercial and residential rates be the same. We never adjusted our code to that. The old code had in there that we would charge commercial users 1.5 times the rate. This just codifies the fact that we charge them the same as residential.
Also, code nuisance met on this as well. We recommend approval.
Very good.
Make a motion we put this ordinance on second reading by title only.
Second.
Motion by David Pyle, second by Roger Spencer, to put this ordinance on second reading by title only. Will the clerk please read the title?
An ordinance amending Title 7 Utilities, Chapter 705 Water, Article 3 User Charge System by amending Section 705.330 Actual Use Rate Structure to conform commercial water rates to residential rates.
Any further discussion?
Move we put this ordinance on final passage.
Second.
Motion by Don Allen, second by David Pyle, to put this ordinance on final passage. This is a hand vote to go to a roll call vote. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. So in the affirmative, please call the roll.
David Byrne.
Yes.
Bill McGuire.
Yes.
Mike Burns.
Yes.
Donna Allen.
Yes.
Roger Spencer.
Yes.
Rick Flynn.
Yes.
Holly Levine.
Yes.
Ordinance passes 7-0. That is ordinance.
341.
Thank you very much. Next is the administration report. Are there any comments about for the city administrator on his report?
One thing is on number 4, I wrote this report before the PD had issues this weekend with the system. So that's why I had in there no issues the past 2 weeks, but they obviously did this past weekend.
So what are the plans on the stormwater thing, number 2?
Those numbers actually show that we just don't have the funds to do the work. $231,000 estimate, and it's the same as what we would do with other projects. We take the street portion out of a project, we take the wastewater portion out of it, we combine the two together, and that's how we get a project. That's just showing that we don't have the money to do that out of our budget at this time.
You are the chief. Want to talk about 7?
That was, for me anyway, it was very interesting.
Same here.
The technology is so much better now, and that was living proof of it, I guess. So much better now than what it was when we put the PD camera system and monitoring system in place, even when we put this one in. And they had some pretty amazing technology. They even had sensors that can odor detection. Our first thought was with vaping in the bathrooms. It happens all the time. Well, you can put a sensor in there that actually can pick that up and alert somebody that somebody's vaping in there. I immediately thought after ours, it's like, boy, the school could use a whole bunch of those.
Yeah, I think you're working with these guys, aren't you, David?
Yes.
Yeah.
But our initial was because of the fiber optic system, we wanted to see camera systems, what kind of technology we could put in the parks for the cameras that we wanted to put in the parks. And we get to see some pretty neat stuff with it.
Yeah, they're like I said, what kind of got me too is they're working on stuff like right now where they can put a camera. We got a guy that goes out and checks all the wells every morning to make sure they're working, right? Looks at the gauges, all stuff. They're going to get technology. It's not quite developed yet. They'll be able to read those gauges, and if something's out of sync, they can change that thing. So the guy won't have to go out every morning at 5 o'clock or whatever time they go out to do that, to make sure that we're getting water in our water towers. And they, there's things like door locks. If we have all of our bathrooms here, we have bathrooms all around town. We're going to have a new one at Lakeside. We got here. They've got things that you can have them automatically lock at 8 o'clock at night and unlock at 6 o'clock in the morning if you want to. So you don't have to have our guys go out there right now, lock them and unlock them all the time to make sure they don't get vandalized at night. And the technology is, it's pretty amazing, the technology they have. They've got stuff for guns, and they can tell if a guy's got a gun, if it's a plastic water gun, or if it's a regular pistol, just by the artificial intelligence they have to detect stuff like that. I was amazed at the technology that is available to do something like that. Whether we can afford it or not, that I don't know. But it was well worth the visit.
And one of the other things was that because of this company's association with the school and the school doing upgrades there, one of the possibilities is that the police department would be able to monitor the school camera system instead of, I don't know how they do it, secretary or whoever, just has the camera system up on there. It's a possibility that we could actually do that monitoring at the PD.
Wow.
It's pretty neat.
It's pretty amazing.
I don't have, like, for the church, I have an app. Anytime an alarm goes off, I can pull up the church and I can see every room in the church on my phone. So I'm sure we can do that.
And yeah, absolutely. We don't have that capability now to be able to do that with any of ours.
And the cameras at the PD are not very good.
Oh, the cameras at the PD are horrendous. When we walked in, and he asked me when they were put in, and I said, when we built the building in 2008, or whenever it was. 2005.
Yeah, year after the tornado.
And he asked me if that was BC.
3 of them are out of focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They're
pretty
gonna
bad.
come in and
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something there for sure.
something simple and see if they can just refocus.
Anything else for the city administrator? Very well, then we'll move along to department reports. Let's see, what do we have? We have a BI report. Nope, just police. We got police and we got public works here. Let's go to PD. It's on here. Any comments for the chief?
Do what?
How's the shop with the cop fundraising?
It's going pretty good. It was real slow at first. I think we finally made our goal as of today. We're probably looking at least 230 kids. We still get a couple emails a day with people inquiring about other kids today. Authorized up to 250 kids. 250 would put us dipping into some reserves, but if they're needy, we'll do it.
Did you get enough volunteers?
That we don't know. We don't have a running list, so we just have people show up the day of. I put it out on the law enforcement network that gets around to all the areas, Jasper County departments, to send people. And, obviously, the schools will send people. Rotary Club sends people. So we're hoping. We'll go with what we have. We've been there to almost noon before. So
It's this Saturday,
yeah, this Saturday at 7 a.m. Web City Walmart.
and you have volunteers there at 7 or?
About 6:45, so we can get everybody lined up and ready to go. And of course, kids will be there 6:15, 6 o'clock in the morning waiting to go. So we say 7, but we'll probably start earlier than that.
Someone messaged me and wanted to say just to call the police department and let them know if you're going to volunteer. Do you still need that happen?
Yeah, they can call and but actually we don't even have the list, so we just ask that they show up Walmart at 6:45 a.m. so we can get the list going, get their names down and start pairing them.
Anything else for the chief?
And that's all tax exempt when you guys do that?
Yes.
Anything else?
I talked to one of the managers of Walmart today. I was in there so that's this weekend and they're pretty excited. They're ready. They're looking forward to it.
Good. Very well, then we'll move on to Public Works. Got any leaves you need, Jay?
Nope. No, we got plenty.
I understand we have a problem with one of the vacuums.
It's back up and going.
Oh, all right. I'd like to hear that. Very good. Got a lot of shut-offs again. Must be Christmas time. Well, I'll tell you, you did a good job on my street. I like the leaves. Thank you. Anything else for Public Works? If not, then we'll move on to committee reports. Budget and Finance.
We had a joint meeting with the HR department at 6:15 tonight. Discussed moving or adding back in the corporal position at the PD, and it was joint committee recommendation to do that, and also hiring some temp labor to help with the aforementioned leaf pickup that we also have available in our salary budget. And other than that, just discussed the use tax that was voted on earlier. Other than that, mid next month, we will probably be starting on some budget meetings, so.
All right. Anything else for budget? Very well then, code and nuisance, Rick.
Just that we met and discussed the amended ordinances we talked about tonight.
All right. Anything for code and nuisance? Human resources, Roger.
You know, like Madonna said, we met and we approved this corporate position. Also, we have a closed session.
All righty. Let's see then. Next will be public facilities. Mike.
I have nothing, sir.
Economic development. Holly.
Yes, we had discussion on the retail strategies consulting, and we'll get ordinance on that next week. We're also having ongoing discussions on a zoning change. If anybody has any questions on that, let us know.
Anything else for economic development? Very well then, we'll go to unfinished business. Holly.
I'm not prepared. Can you come back to me?
Yeah, come back.
Kind of my favorite.
Rick.
No, sir.
Nothing. Pleasure. I have nothing. Donna.
The only thing in follow-up to that is PMC, are they gonna meet on the combined use zoning?
No, I just started the research on that, and I've got a stack about 2 inches thick that I need to go through to see if I can even find something like we want. I think I have found one out of Mount Vernon, but it would obviously take some adjustments to make it work for us.
What about Webb?
They don't have anything.
They don't have one for Madison.
They used to have a Madison Street overlay, but they got rid of that 2 years ago, I think it was.
Tell Carl to get the archives. That's all I have.
Mike.
I have nothing, sir.
Bill.
We do anything on our striping on Briarbrook Drive?
No, sir, we don't even have anything in the budget for it this year. It would be, we'd have to put it into the budget cycle for next year.
Same place you're gonna see the speed sign when you go home, Mark.
Yep.
Check the pavement.
Oh, I know. Well, we didn't, we stopped where? At the end of,
Lakeview.
Lakeview,
and where it
last
stopped
time.
at.
We didn't go all the way down the road all the way to Joplin
Well, the
Street.
thing is you all know, because we were talking about it, you got speed sign up there, and there is one that says 20 miles an hour, but coming around that hill at night, I guess it's open to both sides to drive on, because you really can't tell what it is. Very dangerous.
That is true.
Very dangerous. Nope, that's it.
David?
No, sir.
Mr. Talley?
I have nothing.
Lena? Kristen? Steve?
No, sir.
Jay? Mark? Holly?
Yes, 2 things. Anything from Water's Edge on the pool?
No.
Okay. The ladies last week mentioned wanting to get a light fixture on Elliott and Terra Way. What do we need to do to look into that?
That will take a development, because the only thing right there that they have, that Empire has available is primary. They don't have any secondary or, they don't have anything that they can take the power from to get to a street light. So if Bittners are looking at going in there and doing duplexes now instead of the fourplexes, when they put that in, it can absolutely happen at that time, because they've got to come off of that primary into the transformer to get to the reduced voltage to do it.
Okay, so how do we kind of put that in our brain for?
They'll have to do a site plan, and so I've got notes written on it that, and anytime we do a site plan or a plat or anything like that, the construction guy that does the street lighting always contacts me, and we go through where we want to put them.
Okay, and then so that electric usage, the city would pay for that, or who pays for that?
We do.
I think that one used to have one, didn't it, on Elliott?
No, it's on the other side of Elliott. It's on the south side of the street.
Okay.
That's all
That
for me,
it?
thank you.
New business, David?
Sir.
Bill?
Yep.
Mike?
This should have been old business, but I didn't have that thought just now. Last meeting, there were 6 of us here. And before the meeting, or during the agenda portion, we were approving that, I think you'd mentioned if you thought there were going to be any voting on any ordinance that may be close, that we want to hold off until the full council was able to vote on those. So there was one ordinance, at least, that was 3-3. 2 other members here, and the rezoning request, that was 3-3. And so with the 2 other members here, it possibly could have been 5-3 and may have passed or not. And anyway, that vote has came and gone. And I suppose that if somebody that was on the side wanted to, maybe next meeting, bring that up again, or I don't know. I'm just saying that it's too late now, but if the other 2 members that didn't have a chance to vote on that had strong feelings one way or the other, that would have changed the vote. Maybe it's not too late. I don't
Or
know.
we can only do it at the next meeting, right?
That's correct, because one of them's still not here anyway. I'm not suggesting that they do it, but
I'm not tracking 100% with you here, Mike.
Well, yeah,
Are we
it's
talking
kind
about
of,
an ordinance that was
scrambled there.
voted down?
Correct,
Okay. An ordinance that failed?
correct.
Yes,
Last meeting?
that was on that triplex.
On the rezoning for the,
Yeah.
For the rezoning for the fourplex.
That was an ordinance?
Correct, whether it
Oh,
should,
it's
okay.
the
and it
rezoning.
was 3
Okay.
to 3, and 3 members said no,
Okay,
and 3 said yes,
Okay.
but the other 2 that weren't here, had they said yes, potentially, that ordinance would have been approved rather than
yeah.
not approved. And so anyway, I'm not asking for a revote or anything like that, because I can't anyway, I was on the Sunday side, but I was just saying, if those other 2 members had strong feelings and There's a chance to bring that up
I'm
again.
not sure that you can just bring that back and reconsider it this far removed.
And the developers already changed their plans.
Yeah.
potentially, you just said, that's what made me think of it.
Typically, reconsideration is initiated either at the same meeting or at the next succeeding meeting. And it's initiated by somebody who voted with the winning side.
Right.
So
Well, I
that
was
would have
thinking
been
if-
the no votes at that time.
If we can ask for a use tax a 5th time, I suppose they can ask for a rezoning request for a 2nd time.
Well, yeah,
Oh, they can.
they can initiate the process, but it's
Sure.
still got to go through all those processes.
Gotcha, okay. That's all.
Okay.
No.
I don't have anything?
Nothing.
Rick?
No, sir.
Holly, new business?
No, sir.
Mr. Talley?
No.
No. Yeah. Crystal? Steve? Jay? Mark? Well, next is a closed session per Revised Missouri Statute 61021, hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of a particular employee by a public governmental body when personal information about the employee is discussed or recorded. I'll need a motion to go into closed session.
I move we go into closed session to discuss personnel.
Second.
Was led down Allen, second by Holly Levine. We go into closed session. Say roll call vote to go into closed session.
Holly Levine? Yes. Rick Flynn?
Yes.
Roger Spencer?
Yes.
Ladonna Howe?
Yes.
Mike Burns?
Yes.
Bill McGuire?
Yes.
David Byer?
Yes.
We're now going to go into closed session. Thank you all for attending. We wish you'd come every week.
Thank you.
Please.